My Lords, I thank the Noble Lord the Minister for his very clear explanation. I was and will focus primarily on the first of these two instruments, although I will express concern that, as the Noble Lord the Minister just told us, that there's not full devolved consent to the second of them, and that's something I hope we can resolve very quickly. But I want to begin with the Department's response to the submission from Client Earth to the Secondary Legislation Committee, specifically the point about the transferring of the competent national authority position in England. Now, the departmental response says the Environment Agency will continue to act as the competent authority. Now, I note that in October this year, just a couple of months ago, the chair of the Environment Agency called for greater funding from the government to help the enforcement body better prevent pollution, the issues that this SI addresses. In response to an article published in the Times on the 24th of October, which reported there'd been a sharp rise in serious breaches of pollution rules designed to protect people and wildlife, the chair in a DEFRA blog said, and I quote, "We constantly innovate to do more with less. We will get the environment we pay for. A core part of that is funding the Environment Agency properly. The government has an opportunity to do that in this year's spending review. We hope it will." That, to remind Noble Lords, is the chair of the Environment Agency. Now, I've checked the spending review document, and so far as I can see, there is none of that extra funding that's asked for. You might say begged for, but I'd be delighted if the Minister can tell me that I've missed something with that. Although it would have to be a very big offering in the spending review, given that in March, a report on Greenpeace Unearth blog revealed that a surge in pollution incidents driven by climate change was overwhelming, quote, the staff. And that came on top of data showing that the teams tasked with responding to pollution incidents have seen their numbers decline by 15% since 2015. Now, all of these SIs we're debating now would seem to create extra responsibilities, extra work. So the question is where the resources are going to come from, given that we have a huge regulatory gap already. And I note that there was an invaluable report from 2019 from the Institute for Environmental Management and Assessment in coalition with 19 other organisations, which revealed that funding for 10 environmental and social regulators fell by 50% on average between 2009 and 2017 in real terms, with the Environment Agency budget down by 62%. The total number of full-time staff working at these regulators was down by 30% over the period, with spending by local authorities and thorough authorities down by 35%. Now, before these regulations, before the end of the transition period, we had, however limited it might have been, oversight through the EU. And indeed, as Client Earth has often successfully used the mechanism of using legal mechanisms through that. Now, the governmental response, the departmental response said that once the Office of Environmental Protection is established and functioning, it will take over these roles. Now, this will be a debate for another day, but it does highlight the importance of the independence and the funding of that body as a crucial body in maintaining the health of our environment in the UK. In the meantime, we'll have, as Client Earth put it, the government regulating itself. We have something like a period of uncertainty in your hiatus, rather like we have in your Lordship's House forthcoming business at the moment. But I do want to also, since we've just had a report from the Environmental Audit Committee, turn more broadly briefly to the issue of electronic waste in general. Now, in this very committee last week, I was referring to the need for a right to repair, as the committee in other place has done so. And it also notes that the UK creates the second highest level of electronic waste in the world. We're coming after Norway, almost world leading, but not in the kind of way I hope the government would intend. Now, a lot of that electronic waste that these regulations refer to currently go to landfill, incineration, or are dumped overseas, some 40% of it going overseas. And the MPs on the committee noted that the Environment Agency, again, was not doing nearly enough to monitor where that waste was going and how often it was going abroad illegally. The committee also noted the fact that we have retailers making massive profits, online retailers making massive profits, but not taking responsibility for the products they're getting those profits from. Now, I have so many things here, I'm going to run out of time. What I wanted to say finally is to be practical. Let's bring this down to earth here in Sheffield, where I'm talking to you from now. Electronic waste, there are no bins in local areas, no bins that you can walk to that you can put the electronic waste in. You don't find, as you do in many parts of the continent, a range of bins in supermarkets and hardware stores where electronic other waste, things like light bulbs, can be deposited. We are here dealing with the detail, but I would ask the Noble Lord, the Minister, to make sure that the government very soon considers the huge raging problem, as the Commons Committee described it, the tsunami of electronic waste that we have to deal with and get a grip on very soon. Thank you, my Lord.